Regarded by many as the greatest fighter of all time, Jon Jones is set to make his UFC return and compete for the heavyweight title against Ciryl Gane. The Frenchman is thought of as the future of the heavyweight division, so there is no doubt that this fight will be epic. Since it was announced, the fighting world has been buzzing about what will happen at UFC 285. So let's take a look at what the fighters have to say. Fighter reaction. Let's start off with former middleweight champion of the world, Michael Bisping. Since retiring, Bisping has become one of the best commentators and analysts in the game. And it's of his opinion that Gane should be an underdog, despite Jones never fighting in the heavyweight division and having a 3-year layoff. This is what the former champ had to say.
For the most part, he's a kickboxer. He has some submissions on his record, but he's a great kickboxer. Uses that to wonderful effect. Knocked out Derek Lewis, took out Taito Avasa the last time we saw him in France. And now he gets to go up against the greatest of all time. How do I see that fight going down? Well, I'll make an early prediction. The problem for Ciryl Gane, listen, he's big, and he'll have the longest reach that Jones has ever faced. Ciryl Gane, his reach is 81 inches. As I said, the longest that Jones has ever faced. That could cause him some problems. Certainly when you look at Ciryl Gane, he's very, very light on his feet. He moves like a middleweight. Tremendous footwork in and out, nice long jab, great combinations, very agile, very dynamic in his approach. But compared to Jon Jones in terms of experience and in terms of well-roundedness, he's certainly at a deficit. Now that doesn't mean he loses. It doesn't mean he loses, but one would imagine at this early stage that according to the bookies, that Ciryl Gane will be the underdog.
However, Bisping's commentating partner, Daniel Cormier, sees things differently. DC has had one of the most legendary rivalries with Jon Jones and has held the heavyweight title himself. He seems to be the perfect candidate to break down this epic fight. From DC's perspective, Gane's movement and footwork are likely to give Jones a ton of trouble. This is what the former champ had to say.
Ciryl Gane's movement in the way that he attacks is going to make him very difficult for Jones, because for as good as Jones isn't a guy that moves very much. He's very stationary and going forward. He's long, so he used those long-range weapons to really take control of guys like me and other guys that he fought in the octagon. But he's not a guy that moves around and creates a ton of angles. A lot of straight, long-range weapons. Front kick, his jab, right hand, and his knees whenever you try to attack him. But the issue is with Ciryl Gane is you're gonna have a big guy that possesses a lot of those same qualities with the ability to move. Go back and watch Jones. Pretty flat-footed. He's pretty flat-footed. Gane isn't.
Another fighter who shares DC's sentiment is Dan Hardy. The Outlaw is considered one of the brightest minds in the game when it comes to breaking down fights and unpacking different strategies. Hardy believes that out of all of the potential opponents Jones could have faced on his comeback, Gane is the toughest. This is what the Outlaw had to say.
You know, I think of all the fighters that he could have drawn at heavyweight, this is probably the most difficult for a variety of different reasons.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you look at the skills, the movement that Ciryl Gane has, and they were Jon Jones' advantages at light heavyweight. You know, so now Jones is going up a weight class against someone who's physiologically, naturally very big compared to Jon Jones. You know, like thick, heavy legs, big, you know, strong upper body as well. Like that's not going to be anything like Jon Jones has faced at light heavyweight. He's going to move like the majority of light heavyweights do, which is going to be really problematic for him. You know, Jones has always struggled with people that have got similar physical attributes and benefits to him. Like you look at the first Gustafsson fight, it was footwork, it was movement, it was speed, it was reach. You know, these were all the advantages that Jon Jones had over his opponents, as well as obviously, you know, a good handle of the MMA skill set and a very creative mind. You know, you can say the same things about Ciryl Gane.
Now, one of the most intriguing aspects of this fight is all the unknowns surrounding Jon Jones. Recently, Joe Rogan hosted welterweight title contender Balal Muhammad on his podcast, and the two discussed all the question marks regarding Jones. This is what they had to say.
For Jon, it's going to be, can Jon take him down? Can Jon, like, how does Jon perform at heavyweight? Can Jon close the distance? Is he as fast? What is the 3 years off like? Is he hungrier and even better because he's fired up and he, like y'all must have forgot. He's got that mindset.
He usually does too,
Yeah.
right? Remember, he was always that guy that would want to beat you at your own game. Oh, you're a wrestler, I'll wrestle you. You're a striker, I'll strike with you.
Yeah.
So if he comes out there thinking, Ciryl Gane, you're a smooth striker, I'll smooth you. I don't know.
It's also a first fight at heavyweight. We really don't know how he's going to respond when he gets hit by a big heavyweight. We don't know anything.
Yeah.
And it's years, and it's also Jon is older now.
Just
a lot
that
of
time
partying,
off, honestly.
A lot of partying.
Yeah.
Jon parties. I don't know what he's been doing. Maybe he's been living clean over the last few years. I don't know.
One of the recent changes that Jon Jones has made was seeking out Henry Cejudo and his team for coaching. This has been a big talking point leading up to the fight, and Sean O'Malley is also interested in seeing what kind of game plan the team will come up with for Jones. This is what Sugar Sean had to say.
Good for Jon Jones too. Like Henry's probably got his training pretty dialed in. I mean, like they're older guys too, so they probably don't train near as hard as they used to. So they probably have a pretty good little program going that might, who knows, fit Jon Jones good. But who are they gonna have spar Jon Jones in Scottsdale? Who fucking knows? They're gonna have to fly somebody in.
Ciryl Gane ain't no joke.
I'm just so curious what Jon Jones' game plan is gonna be. Is it gonna be to sit there and go like tit for tat with him, or is it gonna be to come out and double leg him and try to put it on him? But Jon Jones has how much more muscle? 30, 40 pounds of muscle. So is that muscle going to be able to keep up a wrestling pace for 25 minutes?
Dude,
when you're not used to it?
we see it happen.
Oh, it's
know what I
happening,
mean?
bud.
Well,
it's happening.
you just never know.
And sticking with the bantamweights, the current king at 135, Aljamain Sterling, is also intrigued by this epic fight. Aljo believes that Jones has to mix it up with Gane because if he simply stands and strikes with the French superstar, he might be in for a very rude awakening. This is what the champ had to say.
Has the footwork that Jones has never seen before, and he's big. It's not like he's fighting Reyes, who's kind of a little unorthodox. Gane is very technical. He stabs at his opponents. He probes, gets in, get out. The biggest advantage for me in this fight is Jon's championship caliber fights, that experience, and then on top of that, his wrestling acumen. I think that's going to be something that he's going to heavily have to rely on. I'm not saying he can't strike with Ciryl Gane, but you have to imagine the longer the fight stays on the feet in those first, second, and third rounds, I think it is more in the favor of Gane.
Yeah.
I'm not saying if Jon is mixing in takedowns, it makes it more tricky. But if Jon's just like, I'm going to try to beat you at your own game, I could see Ciryl Gane kind of showcasing why he was having a really good time with Francis in their fight until Francis was able to take him down.
But not everyone is super excited about this upcoming heavyweight title fight. The American gangster Chael Sonnen much rather see the former heavyweight champ Stipe Miocic fight Jon Jones rather than Gane. And this is what Sonnen had to say about it.
He got a big problem with Stipe Miocic. We're going to know that we got a big middle finger put into the face of Curtis Blades. And that's where the real interest of this is. I mean, one fight that you guys have never called for. One fight that was not being sought after and asked for, and please don't be the jerk that goes, I asked for that, Chael, go check my Twitter account. Come on, you know what I'm saying here. Broad stroke, we as an industry have never called for Ciryl versus Jon Jones. Never, not once. We never heard rumors of it. We never speculated around it. That just wasn't the dance to be done. We had a round robin going with three guys. Jones, Stipe, Francis. Those three guys have gotten up in the loft and pulled the rope up behind them so nobody else can get there, and they've done this for over a year.
And speaking of that former champ, Stipe Miocic, he recently revealed that he was in line to fight Jones in March. However, the UFC went with Gane last minute. Although a little disappointed, Miocic wishes to fight the winner of the upcoming title fight in July. Here is what Miocic had to say.
Jon spoke to the Underground this week, and he said that he was really hoping that you would be the first fight back. Were you ever in talks to fight on March 4th against Jon?
Yeah.
Okay. And what happened?
They went with Ciryl.
Oh, really? So they called you about it, and were you open to it?
Yeah, definitely 100%.
Oh, so why didn't they do that?
Not a matchmaker. Can't tell you. I don't know. these went in a different direction. So they said, let's see, maybe July.
Okay. Were you disappointed when you heard that?
Yeah, definitely was. It's a great fight, great matchup for me, but end of the day, not my decision, fortunately. But we'll see what happens. I think those two guys are going to put on a hell of a fight. They're both gamers, and I'll love to crack one of those guys, whoever wins it.
So not only are we getting an incredible heavyweight title fight in March, but we might get to see another epic showdown for the title in the summer as Miocic is set to make his return to the octagon. But no matter how things turn out, the return of Jon Jones is something that no fan will want to miss. Not to mention Ciryl Gane's ascendance to legendary status if he's able to defeat Jones. Now if you enjoyed this video, then please give it a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit that little bell beside it so that you're notified the next time we upload a new video. And with that being said, you just watched what fighters think of the upcoming heavyweight title fight between Jon Jones and Ciryl Gane. We'll see you next time.